I'm Lisa Schulte Moore, and I'm a landscape ecologist. I'm working to make sure that agriculture works better not only for people, but also for the planet. The Corn Belt is amazingly productive as an agricultural system, but it has all these unintended negative consequences in terms of the environment. We leave the soil bare for the majority of the year, which means that our soils are prone to erosion. Because there's no living roots in that ground, we tend to lose the nutrients into our nearby waterways, causing water quality degradation. That fertilizer eventually ends up in our surface water bodies that coalesce into the Mississippi River, and eventually it causes too much growth of algae in the Gulf of Mexico, creating conditions where there's not enough oxygen to sustain the sea life in the Gulf of Mexico. A prairie strip is an agricultural conservation technique in which native grasses and forbs that are planted on a farm field to help build soil, slow down rainfall as it's moving across a field and help it infiltrate, keep the fertilizer out of our waterways, and helps provide habitat for our native wildlife.
I've had this farm for over 30 years, and it's where I've gained most of my experience, So the early things we experimented with are the strips. We started out with terraces, but as it concentrates, the water and the soil erosion that you get still gets concentrated in a particular point. Whereas if you had a strip, all of that water would be absorbed by the root systems, and more importantly, the soil actually stays in place. So I think that the strips program that Lisa Schulte Moore is promoting out of Iowa is now part of the NRCS qualified programs. And so we're hoping to educate people with my Northern Missouri farm and this farm as models of what can be hopefully spread across millions of acres.
Largely what I do is I go around and I just talk to farmers and landowners, and I try to get them excited about prairie. And we're still kind of at the beginning phases of the CP43. We're trying to get some adoption ramped up. If you have a farmer or landowner that you know that's interested in prairie strips, because we're looking for farmers and landowners that are going to be willing to host field tours and kind of do stuff like this. It goes beyond just the economic side. Prairie it's our natural heritage here. It's something that we don't know a lot about because we kind of severed the link to that, by getting rid of so much of it. But it is our natural heritage. It's something we should be proud about. And it's neat for me to kind of help light that fire in other people by just putting a small amount of prairie on their property, and then, it kind of ripples out from there.
We have this opportunity now through research that's been done in Iowa that's shown that planting just 10% of a row crop of a soybean or cornfield, just taking 10% of that and planting it with a strip of prairie plants, of grasses and wildflowers, they've seen 95% reduction in the loss of soil leaving, that row crop field. So this is a way to keep productive farmland productive.
Most of the farmers today have technology on their combines. They know where they're breaking even. I mean, the input costs have to be less than your output and what you're finally going to make. And when you depreciate all your equipment and you look at the cost of the fuel that's involved and the time and the risk, there has to be a point where you say, why am I putting this land into corn and beans? If it's not even breaking even, and that's what we did at my North Farm. We rode around in the combines, and wherever we were not even breaking even, we turned that into prairie.